been lit, boy. Everything goes.
We now return you to regular programming.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Everything Goes podcast with your host, TAK, but we are missing K tonight. We're not going to say
That's
his
all right.
excuse because it's not a valid excuse. I'm just kidding.
No, it kind of is.
I'm just kidding. Now he's there's a lot
Fairly
going on
significant.
in the Klein household in Pennsylvania with the move. I mean, it's happening fast. August 5th, I think, is the day they're leaving.
Yeah.
So only like a week and a half, 2 weeks. So there's a lot of packing going on. Everything is they've sent me a couple of videos and everything's saran wrapped. Everything
Yes.
pretty much from the upstairs is in the living room at this point.
Oh,
And
wow.
the TV's still up though. And I know you want to talk about the TV.
Yeah.
The TV's
The
still up.
last thing to get packed.
So you can keep watching TV. But as excited I am for them, I'm happy I'm not there because I feel like moving is stressful. And I'm happy I'm not a part of
100%.
that. Happy I'm not a part of that.
Hence they needed the entertainment, the TV to be kept on. So it was somewhat civil
Yeah.
amongst everything.
Well, Ace, how's your week going, man?
Oh, good question. It's good. Things are kind of ramping up with work. Finally, I'm getting a little more like course training through this program that I'm supposed to be learning. So
Yeah.
beyond that, I finally finished up some kitchen cabinets, doing a little home remodeling.
Oh,
here.
look at you doing a little homework.
A little refacing, just painted over them, sanded and painted.
Pretty soon
over.
you'll
So
be
no-
having the whole tool set there and you'll be doing everything.
Hey, you probably have the tool belt.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, things are good. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'm getting over being sick, man. The past
I-
3 days I've been sick.
I could hear it.
Yeah, I was at student camp last Wednesday through Saturday. First time ever doing camp in my life. It was amazing. It was an incredible experience. I was a camp dad.
I saw the
it's fun.
pictures. Did you canoe? Was one of them?
I didn't canoe. There were kayaks there for the lake that you could use, but I was like that cool camp dad that was pulling all the kids on the trampoline and stuff and getting them up there to jump off and run. Man, I'll tell you one quick story though. I went tubing where they were pulling us on jet skis and boats.
Ooh.
The first time, like we flipped pretty hard. Like we were upside down. I had a moment of silence where I was like looking at the guys next to me and like, where's the water? Like we're upside down right now. And then boom, we smacked and collided with each other. But the
Ooh.
next day I hop on this tube and it just so happens that as I hop on this tube with my buddy, it's me, my other leader, and a girl. You know, we can't go alone with a girl. She's a student. There's certain rules to that. So I had my leader come with me and he looks
Yeah.
at us, this guy on the jet ski. He's like, just so you know, I'm flipping you guys.
Oh,
I'm like,
God.
oh, okay. Like you'll probably take us out. We'll flip. He's the first 5 seconds. This man whips us out. Right. And he's full speed ahead. Like we're going 30 miles an hour. I'm like, you can't see the water. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm holding on real tight. And he makes this real tight turn and I'm on the edge and this water I can see the water moving so fast next to me. And I had a split moment in my mind where like the water was getting close at this point. I knew we were done. Like we were done. And I was like, all right, well, do I just let go? Like let me be the one to hold my destiny. Like I don't want to just go. As I go to let go, like the whole thing, like we just hit water. And when I tell you, I'd never hit water so hard in my life. I had marks on my leg. I was when we got back on that tube, I was scared. I was like, they probably thought I was
jet ski. How's it got that much power?
Man, I don't know. I mean, they got some power
God.
on them. Man, we hit that water so hard out of a turn that like I had PTSD. Like when we got in that tube, they probably thought I was acting and screaming, but I was so scared. I was like, yeah, I'm never doing this again. Yeah, short story. It was fun. But most of the leaders, like one of the kids were sick and they ended up getting a lot of people sick. So we've all kind of been getting over it. I've been sick for like 3 days. I feel great today. 2 days ago was the worst part of it for me. I slept after work. I slept for like 5 hours and then went to bed after that. My energy's back. I feel great. I just can't shake this cough yet, but it's better today than it was 2 days ago. I can tell you that.
Good. Well, I'm glad you had fun too. You got like you said, I'm not surprised. It's sad that like there's a lot of people getting sick too right now. So take your vitamins.
That's what I've been doing, man.
Juice,
Taking my
drink some
vitamins.
water, go for a walk, enjoy that fresh air.
Get some fresh air, man. Go to the beach. You know,
we'll stay, as Johnny used to say, we'll stay inside for you and talk endlessly so that y'all can get the exercise.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, getting into this podcast, obviously, I think it was Tuesday was the home run derby, and then yesterday. No, I think Tuesday was the All-Star game.
Yep.
Monday was the home run derby, and I know a couple podcasts ago we had the talk about, do we think All-Stars, like as far as for each sport, like there should be a change because it's kind of boring to watch. I mean, I think hands down we can all say that NFL is boring to watch. Nobody wants to hit. You can't even tackle anybody because by the time you wrap somebody up, whistle's being blown. Mm-hmm. NBA is a joke because it's just guys shooting 3-pointers or half court shots and dunking like crazy. But in my personal opinion, now I did do some research because I was the one that said MLB is the best All-Star. Stat wise for viewers, it was down. I think it was like in that 16% range, but the home run derby was down like by 3%. The All-Star game was like 16%. But they said it still beat the NBA. It still beat NFL. Like it is still one of the best All-Stars to watch. And in my opinion, I had this conversation with a bunch of people. I love MLB's All-Star break. Like the home run derby. Yeah. Like I could watch that all night. All-Star, even the celebrity softball game. Like it's fun to watch the highlights. I didn't watch the game. Even the All-Star game, we'll break the All-Star game down a little bit. Like I could watch that. That one I really don't care. It's the home run derby for me that really gets me. I mean, the young talent that was in there. I mean, let's just talk about Julio Rodriguez for a second. Seattle Mariners putting them back on the map. I mean, you had Ken Griffey Jr. himself there snapping photos of him. How crazy that to know that the great Ken Griffey Jr. is snapping photos of you. This man leads the home run derby. He's 21 years old. He's a rookie. 31 home runs, I believe it was. His 32 homers in the first round to beat Kyle Seager, who had like 27. This kid put on a show. He was like, you would think that I try and put myself in that situation. If I was a rookie, yes, I would want to enjoy that moment and soak it all in. Man, but I would be nervous as heck, man. That guy put on a show. Yeah.
Pujols putting on. Dude, I think Schwarber kind of got a little rigged like that. I think they didn't review a home run that looked to be out that would hide it for him. But I mean, hats off to Pujols.
Hats off to Pujols, who I was like shocked was in the home run derby over Stanton. I mean, when you see Albert Pujols, yes, Hall of Famer, absolutely great player, hands down. Home run derby, man. I'm shocked he made it to the second round, and then there was like a tie off between him and Soto.
Is it more shocking that he made the derby or the All-Star game? When I saw, I'm like, wait a second, he actually made the All-Star game too.
So really is there
a ceremony?
Do you think there's like a certain like courtesy thing where like if you're a great no doubt Hall of Famer and you come out and say like, hey, this is probably my last year, that they kind of just go, let's allow him to ride out in the sun. We'll put him in the All-Star game this year. Like, do you think that's a thing?
It is, because guess he's batting .215.
He's got like what, maybe 10 home runs?
6 home runs.
Don't quote me on that. Like I think he's got
home runs. Yeah, dude, he's having a terrible no offense, but he's only played in 53 games. So what, 2/3 of the games, if that? Like, come on. Like, and
I feel like that's like a very hard topic to have because he's a Hall of Famer, but also like why how can I explain this? Like, why take away a spot from a young guy who might have a dream to be an All-Star game? And this might be the only year he has a great year in his career. But we threw Albert Pujols in there and in the home run derby, who you just said batting .216 with 6 home runs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
he's regressed. Like, so I just looked it up. He had over 30 home runs every season with the Cardinals. He had three the rest of his career with all the other teams, the Angels, etc.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a courtesy. And to be honest, like, no offense. Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer, but it's not like Cal Ripken, or it's not like, well, maybe it is, but I should double check that. I don't know what, I don't know what like Ripken's average was going into that too. Maybe I think it is more ceremonial though, to your point. I guess
I'd agree. I feel like, you saw with Jeter, I can't tell you off the top of my head if Jeter was having a great year his last year. I know he was battling with injuries constantly his last couple, like 4 to 5 years. But they did with Jeter. Miguel Cabrera was there again. I don't believe Miguel Cabrera is having a great year. You can quote me on that, Ace. But I feel like you do see that a lot. And I like it, but I don't like it. I'm very torn on it. I would love to hear what people think about it. But are you pulling up Miguel Cabrera's stats up right now?
Oh, Cabrera. I pulled
Yeah.
up Jeter's. He batted 256s last year, but
Oh, yeah?
it's not bad. I mean, like he's never gonna have the home run stats or anything sexy like that. It's just
No. Did you
on base and-
watch the Captain episode 1?
No,
I didn't
not-
either, Ace. And you
Really?
I can't find it. The only
your
stream
dad?
and I don't think he did. My brother
Okay.
did, and he said it was really good. Yeah, I
Oh,
guess in
okay.
episode 1, you really hear Jeter talk about how he wanted to quit, man, because he had so many errors like that first year. But the only app it's on is ESPN Plus, and I don't feel like paying another subscription. So I was like trying to find a stream online. Hope I don't go to jail for that. But I couldn't find any. But it literally looks like the Jordan, The Last Dance documentary. So I really, really want to watch it, especially between the beef between him and A-Rod.
Oh, heck yeah. That's a
They
good
talk.
point.
They
I don't
talk
know
about
the
it. They talk about it.
Okay. God.
So I really want
I
to
mean,
watch
look at
it.
what Rodriguez has done with his career after this. Not to segue. So I have Cabrera's stats up. He's having a good year, actually.
Is he? Is he?
287.
Wow.
Only three home runs.
How
but the
old is
last
he,
2
though?
Years, he's 39.
Could you imagine being
And
39?
79 games. 79 games too.
Could you imagine being a 26-year-old or something, and you feel like you've been grinding so hard, and you're batting like 215, knowing that there's a 39-year-old who's still batting 287? I'd be like, I'm done retiring.
Oh, and even like you're matching Pujols, who's 40 something.
This is so off topic, but when you think about people who that steroid era, which there was probably many of them that didn't get caught. Like this is such a debate that I feel like a lot of people have, but like even though they do steroids, right? Like you take A-Rod, for instance, he wants to get bigger because he believes if he gets bigger, he'll hit more home runs.
Mm-hmm.
Does it still take skill to go out there and be a good baseball player? Or do you think people just think like, oh, he took steroids, so he's automatically this better baseball player? Like they still like definitely an advantage, right? Like I'm not sitting here saying, oh, A-Rod was a great baseball player and steroids had nothing to do with that. But there's still a side to it, I feel like, where, yeah, like even though he did steroids, like he still has to go out there and hit a 98-mile-an-hour fastball, hit a 70-mile-an-hour curveball. The only thing that sucks is, yeah, he's getting huge now. So if he does make contact with that little skinny toothpick bat, that it's gone.
Hey, Stanton holding that freaking bat plus Judge, that's a toothpick to them.
Well, how about the bat? I feel like we're jumping all over the place, but there's so much good baseball tag. Go ahead. What are you gonna say?
Should we finish this steroid?
Yes.
Quick?
Yes.
So I think I mean, they're in the major leagues for a reason. So I think skill wise, they're already at that level.
Yep.
If they just bulk up, and honestly, like Altuve can hit the ball pretty hard and hit home runs, and he's no more than like 5'7".
I think Altuve was a guy that really broke culture for a lot of people that would hear. Like I heard in high school baseball, like, you're too small, you gotta get bigger. Like look at Jose Altuve, he's like what, 5'8", 5'7".
Yeah. And that honestly, that's probably an over complete like Tom Cruise. He's nowhere near 5'5" maybe.
Yeah.
But I think a little bit of it honestly is skill when you're at the major league level. I don't know. The thing is too, like you kind of know when like Bonds took him. I think when there's a point when after he left Pittsburgh, goes to the Giants, like there's a point where he freaking bulked up. It was obvious.
There's a picture that you could look at side by side.
Yeah.
A-Rod was always a pretty big guy. Sure, he got bigger.
Mark McGwire, honestly, if you look in his early days too, he was always like big. I mean, granted, he got like jacked. Sammy Sosa's another one. You're like, yeah, that dude's definitely cheating.
Yeah.
But
I never understood when pitchers took steroids. Cause like to me, I feel like the bigger you get, yeah, you might be able to throw harder. But I feel like that flexibility and that movement of your arm, you're taking away from that. Yeah. I could totally be wrong because I don't know the physics of that. But like whenever I heard pitchers getting banned for steroids, I'm like, how is that helping? Like, I could totally be wrong. Someone could be listening to be like, bro, it's like totally worth it. Like they would get bigger and throw faster. But like when I think about pitching, like, cause I was pitching, I feel like if you're bulking up, like you might not have that same movement because now your body's getting bigger. I could be wrong.
I mean, maybe it's one of those things where as a reliever, you're only in 1-2 innings max. So a lot of times, so maybe it's better. Maybe it's, I can't see a lot of starting pitchers. And if you look around the league, not a lot of starting pitchers. Like Garrett Cole is a big dude just naturally. And there's some others, maybe DeGrom, whatever the case. But like they're not like bulk, they're not like muscular either. So I kind of agree with you. It doesn't really make sense for a pitcher.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just a weird issue overall. Cause like, yeah.
Now, I always thought when I was little, why are steroids illegal? And then you'd hear the side effects like with men. And I was like, oh, okay, not doing that.
Hair loss.
Getting the men's genital area,
Yeah.
But getting back to the home run derby, did you see the size bats they were using? They were using like 36 length bats.
Oh, I didn't know. Whoa.
They were using.
I didn't notice.
Like Corey Seager, I think he was using like a 35 or 36, and then he would choke up because of how big that sweet spot is. He wanted just nothing but bare. Now, Ace, go ahead.
What's Seager usually like? Are they 33, 34s? Maybe
I would
35?
say now this is just in a men's league. I would say the average length is 33. I always use the 32 because I'm a little bit of a smaller guy. 33 to 34, I would say he's average, but for a bigger guy, I would say probably 35. But Seager's not a big guy.
No. Yeah, that's weird.
But what's cool too is that the home run derby, they brought this thing out now. When the guys would walk up to home plate, they had a bat analysis where like they'd show you what kind of bat he was using, the length of it, the type of wood. I thought that was really cool that they brought to the game. But Ace, you're in the first round, right? You're batting against Julio Rodriguez, right? And
yeah,
this is the disadvantage to me, I think, for not going first is, all right, you're like, all right, I'm gonna let this guy go first. He's gonna be nervous. You're down there in the batter's cage. You come up thinking the round's almost over and you see 31 home runs on the board. You're telling me that doesn't put fear in like crap. Like if I miss like 5 in a row now, like I really got to start pumping this. You only got like what, 3 minutes, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's.
Wait, by the way, I kind of agree with you. That is shocking. And he made it to the finals. Do you think that there should be a rule though, where the ball has to, because wasn't it before the ball had to land before the pitcher could throw?
So yeah, I thought about that during the home run derby. I think it's number one. I think it's a stupid rule. And here's why, because I mean, when you have guys that are huge like that, right? Like Soto, Acuna, who can hit a ball hard, Pete Alonso, who's hitting balls over 4-4 like it's nothing. You think by the time that ball lands, 10 seconds could easily go by. So why is that even a rule? I know last year they really implanted that rule, but this year I feel like you didn't see it as much. Like you would see the umpire raise his hand for like 1 second and then put it down. I feel like Julio Rodriguez in that first round, definitely you saw the coach. I was like, bro, it's like he doesn't even care. Like he's just throwing it. But yes or no, Ace, like I feel like that rule's stupid. Like I should just be able to throw the ball as quick as I can. Because if I can do it, my opponent can do it too. Like there's no advantage to it. Like if my batter has the stamina to keep going, like it's only going to weaken him. It's only going to make him more tired.
It's kind of lost the luster though too.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Ty, you froze up.
I'm here. We're good. Let's go. So that's where I'm just like, I feel like it's stupid. What are your thoughts on it?
Stamina. I don't know. I think it's almost too fast, and like you lose the likes of a Chris Berman back. Like
I agree. Actually,
that's kind of gone actually because of how fast they want to get things through. But yeah, and so maybe the whole. I think it's the thing is I like that they have a time limit too, though, because it's like there should be some urgency. You shouldn't just let dudes hit for whatever.
Yep, I agree.
But yeah, I don't know.
I like that point you said, because maybe like not necessarily the ball is to land, but like if it gets past like midway through the outfield, all right, you can throw your next pitch, because by the time that pitch lands, he's hit one.
Yep.
Which is kind of what it felt like they did this year. It didn't feel like they were waiting for every single one to drop, because there were some guys that were swinging left and right like there was no tomorrow.
Oh, it was intense. And like even in the game itself, those freaking swings, the home runs were incredible that both the dudes
makes me. I remember I used to watch the home run derby as a kid, and like even in high school, I'd be like, wow, they make it look so easy. And then I would go and try and do it. I'd be like, yeah, I hate this sport. Pete Alonso, he tried.
I'm not a home run swinger. I do not have that swing.
I can hit it off the fence. I was never able to hit it all over the fence. But Pete Alonso tried to get his triple home run derby. That would have been sick to see him win it 3 times in a row. He gets eliminated by who else? The 21-year-old Julio Rodriguez.
Mhm.
Him and Soto go to face in the finals after Soto beats Albert Pujols, and we have our first ever 21-year-old and 23-year-old. Like, how crazy is that to look at that and think baseball's in good hands?
Soto's about to get paid too.
Yes, we
Speaking
will
of-
talk about that. But Soto wins. He beats. I feel like Julio definitely got tired towards the end there. He didn't put up as much home runs as you. Obviously, the round is shorter,
Yes.
but he did. I think it was 18 or 13. One of those two numbers are in my mind right now. Could be wrong. But Soto wins. Congratulations to Soto. You know,
Mhm.
I was rooting for either one, honestly, at that point. Originally, I picked Acuna to win it all, but he got eliminated in the first round. You know, his pitcher kept throwing him cutters and he couldn't hit a home run out of the ballpark. But it's funny because I texted my girlfriend. I was like, hey, like, here's a list of baseball players. I just want you to pick one and see like how far they go. And she goes, oh, I'll take Julio. I'm like, well, that's an interesting pick because he's a rookie. And then he puts up 30 home runs in the first round. I'm like, you're not going to believe this, but he's dominating right now.
Yep. Got
And
second.
then he loses in the finals. But
Second ain't bad. I think as a player, he's going to be staying around the All-Star game. He seems like he's a stud.
and I think it put Seattle back on the map again. You know, Seattle's been one of the hottest teams in baseball. They had a win streak going on. I forget. Yeah.
14, I think.
14 or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they've been playing well. That Juan Soto thing is interesting you just brought up because didn't he just get a contract?
No,
Like, didn't he
they offered him one. I don't think
they offered him an extension, but I'm pretty sure if you look it up on your computer, Ace, like I'm pretty sure he got a contract like last year or 2 years ago that was really big. And now I think they offered him an extension, kind of like, hey, we want you to stay. Like, here's a lot of money, which was a lot of money. I mean, if you don't care about winning or losing because the Nationals don't have a lot of talent, like 440 million.
No kidding. They don't have
Like, what's the tax like in Washington?
Probably high. I would imagine it's high. Large government action.
Because 440 million, I was like, yo, dad, I don't care about losing. Like, who wants some money? Like, here's 10 million, here's 10 million, here's 10 million. Then I'd be broke by then.
Okay, he's on a 1-year deal, it looks like.
Really?
For 17 mil. And then he's arbitration. So he's up for his 3rd-year arbitration.
See, and that's why I texted my dad and Rudy because they were like, you know, the Yankees are you know, in that hunt to trade for him. And I said, well, why would we trade for him? Because there's no chance we'll be able to re-sign him and Judge. But they said, no, like he's signed already. They only offered him an extension. So.
Well, he's signed through this year. What's the same? I'm going to look up Aaron Judge quick. This is kind of, normally we don't do this, but whatever.
Well, Aaron Judge is a free agent this year too. And you need to pay that man. I don't want to see him in a Boston uniform. I don't want to see him in a Mets uniform. I want to see him in a Yankees uniform. He's expressed. You know what makes me mad, Ace, is I was at work the other day and I saw an article come out that says, you know, Aaron Judge says he just wants to be a Yankee forever. And I'm like, well, why didn't you take the contract that we offered you? Because it was like 7 years or whatever it was. But get it done, man. I mean, the season that he's having, you can't let him walk. Can't let him walk, Ace.
No. I mean, he's going to end up commanding a 25 plus mil a year anyways, probably. So like freaking fork it over anyways. If he wants to stay there and speaking of taxes, he'd probably go to a state that doesn't have state income taxes.
Yeah.
If he was smart, if let's say New York doesn't want to offer, or they do what the Packers did with Adams, where never mind. Bad take. I think he's got to stay with New York.
You got a lot of core guys there that are still signed for a while. You got Rizzo for at least another year. Like you got Cole. Like the team's still there. Stanton's still there because you know we all know he signed that huge contract in Miami.
So figure this out, Buxton. Oh my God, we're getting Buxton on such a freaking bargain. Buxton's making 15 mil. 15 mil. Aaron Judge is making 19
how much longer? How much longer do you have him down?
We just signed him.
No, really.
It's like for the next 6-7 years, he's making, it was 6 or 7 year deal for 100 mil. Dude, like picture Buxton, 15 mil, Aaron Judge already surpassing that at 19. Not much difference in age.
Well, Judge just got that 19 mil, I think, from that arbitration because he was making like minor league money for a while.
Oh, really?
Because the way they signed him and I believe Gleyber Torres too, when they were in the minors, like they were locked up for a while where they weren't able to like have that new contract availability. So they had like a smart move for a while. Like that's why I think he's taking his time with is like I think that's why it's so specific for Aaron, because this is probably his only time he's gonna have a contract opportunity. And he just wants to make sure he's there for a while and he's still getting paid because he's Aaron Judge.
So weird. And here's another thing. Mike Stanton, Giancarlo, I should say. Giancarlo Stanton.
Mike Stanton. It's right. It's his name.
Making the last few years, he's been making 29 mil. Oh my God, that shoots up to 30. God, he signed a massive deal.
He signed like a 13-year deal. That was a huge deal back in the day. I don't even know if New York's paying all of that. I don't know if Miami's paying some of that.
They could. Yeah, it's an enormous deal, like a 10-year deal, I think.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think Judge is going to want close to that. I don't know how you make that work, but I mean, at the end of the day, these freaking owners, that luxury tax or the penalty means nothing.
Nothing. Speaking of Buxton and Stan, All-Star game happened, and to help the AL win their 9th straight AL All-Star game, Stan and Buxton go back-to-back with home runs. Lead into Stanton, get the MVP. I think the reason they picked Stan over Buxton is because Stanton was a homeboy in LA. I think they kind of like allowed him to have that like home moment, which probably felt amazing.
Yep. They had him mic'd up like the inning before that, which actually was pretty cool in left field. And he was talking about how he used to sit in the stands back there.
Him and Judge were mic'd up together. That was pretty sick.
Yep. Home run basically went up like as far as where he would sit in the upper deck of left field.
Yeah. How cool is that?
That was
How
massive.
cool is that?
Him
you know what's funny is
Buxton,
he doesn't even move his bottom half. He doesn't even move the bottom half of his body. It's all upper body strength for him.
That they were talking about that. I didn't even like. That's impressive.
Heck yeah. He's also a big boy.
He's so strong. Oh God, yeah. Like we could not get by with that.
No. To wrap up baseball, we're starting the second half of the season. Are you happy where the Twins are at? And what is something you would like to see happen the second half of the season?
Happy with where the Twins are at? Not really. Just because I think overall we need pitching and everyone knows it.
Yeah.
And they're like I was saying before we got on, we should at least be 5 or 6 games more above 500. I think we're 8 to 10. I don't know the exact record. We play Detroit, we play Milwaukee coming up here. We got to take care of some business. You
got to win these easy games. Not easy games, but you got to take care of these games.
Yeah. And we have been terrible against the division. It's just like, I don't feel comfortable playing the White Sox, Cleveland down the stretch, because those last games we've played with them, we got swept by the White Sox and we lost five games in extras.
Yeah.
To the Indians in however many days. Like I mean, again, it's so desperate that we need pitching. It's not even funny.
Yeah. Hey, Luis Castillo's out there.
No, you mean Arise? Oh no, Castillo, the pitcher.
Yeah, go trade for him.
I would do that because I don't care. We could put Smeltzer in the bullpen. We could put some other guys.
How's Sonny Gray pitching?
All right. Like these guys are all on freaking pitch counts too. There's something with our analytics. I don't like, nobody really knows, but like, stuff happens. Because Archer, Sonny Gray.
Oh, Ryan, that's right. You all got Chris Archer.
Yes, they're all like.
How's he doing?
Archer can only throw 75 pitches a game.
Is he coming off an injury?
80. Yeah, last year. But I mean, I don't know. It's just like, to me, that just screams analytics. Like there's other.
Yeah.
Same with Gray. Same with the whole pitching staff.
Yeah.
So of course you're taxing a bullpen that is trash already. But okay, I've gone on too long. I want them to do well down the stretch. We got an awesome offense, and I love Correa.
Yeah. I'm happy where the Yankees are at. As of today, it was a 13-game lead, but they just lost the first game of doubleheader against the Astros, and I think they're currently losing to the Astros right now. I don't know what it is with the Astros, but they always have our number. It's like they love playing us for some reason.
Yep.
I don't know if I'd want the Yankees to pursue Soto, obviously, I think if the Yankees got Soto, that is like a rental for like, all right, let's go win this World Series. But they are asking for like an 8 to 9 player, like MLB ready players.
What?
And it's just like, all right, like, is that even worth it? Like you're in first place now without Soto. Is it worth giving up something that you could be good for the next couple, 3 years? Maybe. I'd rather see us go get like a Luis Castillo, like another pitcher. I mean, Domingo Germán's coming with the 60-day IL.
You guys got studs. I don't know what it is. I think it's IR.
I don't know. I'm not going to say it again because I don't know. But he's coming off. I know the Yankees have expressed they don't want to do a 6-man rotation, so that's going to be interesting if he can be healthy. I like where the Yankees are at. We got a little cold at the end there before the All-Star break. We're losing to the Astros. I hope that we can at least stay healthy because I knew we would get cold eventually. But I'm happy where we're at. We're still a good team. Everyone's still there. They're healthy. So I'd like to see us go get some more pitching just to really, really beef up an already good pitching rotation.
Yep. Oh my God. If they could get Castillo and even just having that Jermaine back, like they're heads above what most other teams have.
Yeah.
And it's impressive what the Yankees have put together, especially when you consider that lineup. Any one of them can hit a home run too. So it's scary.
It is. I'm excited. So let's get into some NFL. The biggest news today, I feel like in sports right now, is Kyler Murray.
Speaking of scary,
5 years, $230.5 million with $160 million guaranteed. Ace, what are your thoughts when you see those numbers?
Wait, 160 guaranteed?
$230.5 million contract, $160 million guaranteed.
So we got like what, a little more, half 500,000 more than Watson, because I think Watson got 230.
Do you think Watson screwed up the QB market?
Oh, absolutely.
I think that eventually quarterbacks were going to get to the 200 range.
I even think
like
Garoppolo screwed it up. Same with freaking Jared Goff before him. But yeah. Because that's why, like, Lamar, do I think Murray is deserved of that much money? Not really.
I don't.
No, not compared. Not like you can't just keep saying next man up when
that doesn't make sense.
Not as good as Watson.
No,
like Lamar. I think Lamar has a legit chance. He's deserved, I think, to clear that because I think he's obviously as good an athlete. He might not be as good a thrower, but he's also playing. Like, you got to factor in the fact that he's going to be on the field too.
Yes. And we were talking about this a little bit before the podcast started, but you have that whole next man up mentality as far as who gets paid next. That is complete crap. Like, it should be based off how you perform, right? Because you've guys like Kyler Murray and Derek Carr who just got paid good money. I'm happy for them. I want every player to get as much money as they can. But like we were saying before this, I'm not taking away the fact because I think that they are good 2 quarterbacks. But what they got paid and who hasn't got paid yet, it's like, come on, that doesn't make sense, right? Because everybody has been doubting Lamar, like, oh, he's not a good quarterback. Oh, he should have been a running back. Oh, like he's not that great. He just wants to run a lot. But Lamar, who hasn't got paid yet, that guy's an MVP winner. He's been to the playoffs a couple of times. He's been to the Pro Bowl a couple of times, right? So you have a guy with that already on his resume. You've Derek Carr has been to technically, I think like 2 playoffs. The one he was injured though, so he didn't get to play. You have Kyler Murray, who, he has turned the Cardinals around, kind of like a Baker thing, and he's good. But does he deserve $230.5 million? No, but I think that he had the leverage. I wrote this down, so I remember this because I thought that it was pretty good. I read an ESPN article that he had the leverage because, the Cardinals needed quarterback stability and someone that could be there for a while because the last guy sorry.
And they got more weapons around him than the Texans too with Watson.
Yes. And they got his college roommate, Hollywood Brown. But since the Cardinals have been there since 1988, they've had a problem with having quarterbacks for like longer than 5 years. Carson Palmer, Kurt Warner, each played 5 years only for Arizona. And you Jake Plummer, who played 6. Obviously they're hoping Murray can turn that around. They drafted but I'm happy for Kyler Murray. Don't get me wrong. Congratulations. Like, I want everyone to be happy. I mean, that's life-changing money for generations right there.
Yeah.
I just think the way that this is going, it's gonna like, we're gonna have a podcast next year where it's gonna be like, wow, this guy just got $300 million. Like that's where it's going. And I truly think it would have gotten here at one point, maybe in a year or two, but I think the whole Watson thing sped that up real fast.
Yeah. The only thing I'll say about Murray, I mean, if you watch him on the field, his body language compared to most other elite quarterbacks, like especially Lamar and Watson, we're talking about comparing, his body language is absolutely terrible. I know he's a small dude and like tries to duck and avoid hits, but even that, he's like throwing his hands up, it's like baby sometimes. And it really seems like that could take a team out. And he played bad the last, it was like, I don't know if it was just the Rams game that I'm remembering, but they're like the pass that he made when he was in the end zone spinning around and just like randomly threw it into the defender's hands, like easy 10-yard sprint into the end zone. Like there's just terrible decision making and just overall attitude. I think he's got to fix. So
I think it is good for Arizona. You know, they locked up their head coach for a couple of years. They just re-signed their GM for a couple of years. You lock in Kyler Murray. Yes, Hopkins is suspended for the first 6 games, so you'll have him at the end of the stretch, which you didn't have him at the end of the stretch last year, where it's most important. Hollywood Brown's on the team. You still got J.J. Watt. You have a full season with Zach Ertz.
Yeah.
So it's there. Congratulations, Kyler Murray. $106 million guaranteed.
Bag.
What we're going to do now in this segment is we're going to break down in each division in the NFL what team we think has the most chaotic situation going on or the most chaos going on in the organization right now. I'll start us off, Ace, so that way you can pull up the divisions and get your mind thing. We'll start in the AFC East. My pick, and this might shock a lot of people, I picked the Dolphins. And why I picked the Dolphins is, number one, you have Tyreek Hill, who comes over for the Chiefs, and, you know, he's got his new podcast and he's talking his smack. You know, hey, Tua throws a better ball than Patrick Mahomes. I think Tua is the guy. You know, Tua, everyone's high on Tua and saying this is it. This is the team. You know, they have Waddle, they have Tyreek Hill. They won 9 games in a row last year. Like, this is going to be the team that turns around. And why I think it's chaotic, because if this doesn't work out, you have a big problem. Number one, you have Tyreek Hill run his mouth, and if it doesn't work out, he looks like a clown. Number one, if Tua doesn't get the job done this year, you have a bigger problem at QB now, because now that's 3 years where, like, it's kind of been the funky loop with him.
Yep.
So I picked the Dolphins. I want to know what you pick in that division. That division is tough, because I could have picked the Patriots, because you just don't know. No, I wouldn't have picked the Patriots. I forget what other team I was going to pick. I think I was going to pick the Jets.
Come on, Wilson. Like, here's the thing, though. I agree. I think it's like 1A, 1B with both those teams, because the quarterbacks, I'm guessing most people would say Wilson's probably more talented than Tua, but like they still got to prove it. Like, he didn't have the best years. I know he was a rookie, so Tua's kind of got the couple years up where he's like under a little more pressure. But Wilson, man, going what the off-field storyline was.
That's a crazy story that's going around. The only reason I didn't pick the Jets is because I feel like they have their identity. I feel like they have their quarterback they like. I feel like they had a really good draft, and they had a really good draft last year. So I feel like they're really building a solid team for once. And I really think this is the draft that I think you'll see the Jets get 5 to 6 wins this year. I know that's not a great season, but it's a better season than what they've been having.
I was just going to say, like, how many they would likely go if they go 500 in the division. You got to be happy, because can they beat the Bills once? Maybe not if the Bills are on, clicking.
I'll tell you what,
a rainy game. Sure. Like the Patriots beat the Bills last year in that rainstorm at Foxborough. Yeah, sure. But
if Zach Wilson gets good and the Jets get good for once in our lives, and Mac Jones stays good, the Patriots, like, that will be one of the best divisions in football. Because Josh Allen's, in my opinion, the best quarterback in the league right now. Obviously, Brady's there and he's still playing an amazing level, but I just think Josh Allen just has this huge chip on his shoulder because he gets closer and closer every single year. But all right, we'll move on to the AFC North, which I feel like is just the obvious one here. I picked the Browns. And I picked the Browns because I feel like the Browns just do not and can never just get their franchise identity. Their uniforms are always changing, even though it's kind of the same color schemes every single time. They cannot get the quarterback situation right. And in my opinion, they had it right. They let it go. You give $230 million to a guy that has more lawsuits than I can count on my hands. I mean, your wide receiver room's been up and down. Now you got Amari Cooper,
Yeah.
yes. But I mean, you have two of the best running backs in the league, and just it feels like everything is going to start to fall in Cleveland. And for a team that I was excited to watch, I feel like it's going to be a lot of downfall this year. And I could be wrong. You know, I mean, they had Josh Rosen and AJ McCarron come in and try out, saying they signed Josh Rosen to a 1-year deal to probably to back up Brissett. But the Browns, man, what are we going to say?
The Browns are the Browns. A part of me wants to say the Ravens just because like the Lamar contract could be, but I feel like they're a close enough team where that doesn't really phase them. It's got to be the Browns. Everything you just said. And it's funny that Cooper has kind of had an up and down career, and it makes sense now that he ends up landing on the Browns of all teams, because their receiving core has been clearly just a roller coaster for decades.
I'd be so mad if I was Cooper. Like, bro, you had it great in Dallas, man. I don't know why you're complaining. And then now you're on the Browns. Like, yeah, like I get it. Like, you're gonna be the star receiver, bro. But like, what's going? Like, if Deshaun Watson's there, all right, cool, I like it. But bro,
that's a good point. You don't know who's that quarterback at the end of the day, and that's
how crazy would it be if the Ravens didn't resign Lamar? Like, if he just walked. I mean, you got rid of Hollywood Brown, and now your quarterback just walks.
Let's talk about that when Chris gets back, because I would love to.
Yeah. So we got the AFC South.
Huge topic.
AFC South here, and I picked the Colts. And I picked the Colts because I think the QB is a big question mark. I think Matt Ryan will have a good second chance here. I'm hoping he does. But if Matt Ryan does terrible here, even though you have a great running back in the backfield and a good defense, a good offensive line, they got really no wide receiver help. And if Matt Ryan doesn't work out, I mean, how does that make the whole Carson Wentz situation look? The fact that you just gave up on him after 1 year, and now this quarterback you bring in does bad. Like, I feel like that there's a lot of scary situations that could happen if it doesn't work out.
Yeah. They seem like maybe a 10-win team at most. And I don't know what they were last. I think they were a couple games. They must have been a game or two under 500.
I want to say they had 9 or 10 wins last year.
I kind of agree with you. I agree with you in the sense that like the receiving core is never, I mean, you've had good players over the years for sure, but the last handful of years, not so much. I got to go with the Titans though. After that loss,
I know
Henry kind of like they were betting on him to beat them, and Tannehill ended up kind of costing the game to some degree against the Bengals, but and so it kind of centers around Tannehill too. But at the end of the day, if you think you got something in, I can't remember the quarterback out of Liberty that they drafted.
Gosh, I can't either. Malik Willis.
Yeah. If you think you got something in him, maybe he ends up starting sooner if Tannehill struggles. But I think overall, that's a team that should probably win the division again, or at least battle with the Colts. So,
I don't know what it is about the Titans. I don't really like their uniforms. I don't like Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah.
I mean, they got rid of AJ Brown.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a hard one between that one and
Julio was not the same. We talked about that last week or couple.
Well, he's not even there anymore. They got rid of him.
So to me, that's the biggest in the South.
All right, so we do the AFC West, but I'm going to need you to read me off the teams again because I couldn't pick one.
Oh, in the AFC West? So
AFC West.
Bronx, let's ride. What does he say? Bronco country, let's ride or something.
Oh, God, that's what that will be.
Chiefs, Chargers, and Raiders. To be honest, can we just skip this one? I think all these teams should.
Yeah, I don't really think there's a chaotic thing. The only thing I was going to say, the only reason I wanted to pick the Chiefs was, will we see Patrick Mahomes exposed this year, or will he be fine without Tyreek Hill? Like, a lot of people think it was only because he had Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce that they were so good. Will he prove them wrong?
Didn't they have like one or two, for sure, one offensive lineman that was like a key player retire?
I believe so. But I looked at all those teams in that division. Like, they have their identity. I mean, they have new coaches. Like, that's a good division.
I think the Raiders will win the division.
That's going to be a good division to watch this year.
Yeah. So I don't really have I kind of agree with you. Really, the Chiefs sort of stand out the most, honestly.
Yeah.
And Mahomes is arguably probably the best quarterback in the division, if not the league.
Yeah.
Up there. So
now we get to the NFC, and where better to start than the NFC East, where I chose the Washington Commanders. Why I chose the Washington Commanders, where I kind of wanted to choose Dallas. I'm not going to lie. I'll discuss that afterwards. I chose the Commanders because, number one, it took them a while to find their identity. Number two, their owner needs to go because he's dealing with all kinds of stuff that is bringing so much drama to that team.
Mm-hmm.
Took him forever to sign their number one receiver. That's been their best thing in Washington probably in the past couple of years. And will Carson Wentz be Carson Wentz again? I'm hoping he does. I hope he proves all the haters wrong. But I just feel like Washington, excuse me, I feel like Washington has like this big, like, we're rolling the dice here. We drafted a receiver this year. We re-signed our other receiver. Let's see if Carson Wentz can have any type of leadership here and maybe Chase Young will play because he's healthy now.
Yeah.
But when I look at Washington, I think they could be a good team, but I still see a big question mark. Like, I just don't know.
Yeah. I mean, between them and the Giants, most years you could probably argue it's all four teams. Like, that division's got to be the most dysfunctional. But now that the Eagles maybe seem legit, they're another team that drafted well.
Eagles are the favorite. In my opinion, Eagles are the favorite to win that division.
But it's for sure the Commanders, without a doubt. Like I said, you could maybe throw the Giants in there, but everything you said, I don't need to repeat it. Commanders.
I wanted to pick the Giants, but I thought because their whole quarterback situation, the receivers, and just how many people they've been losing. But I feel like they have a good foundation. They got a good GM in there. They got a good coach in there now. And Dan Patrick floated Garoppolo potentially to the Giants. I texted my buddy the other day. I said, would you take Garoppolo? He said, heck yeah. Because Tyrod Taylor, don't get me wrong, he's okay. He ain't getting you. He's the backup to Daniel Jones. And I would not be shocked if they didn't give it like an open QB competition. But you're telling me Garoppolo is not better than those two?
Yeah. All
right. We have the NFC North now. And clear as day, I picked the Vikings. I'm just kidding. What? I didn't. Stop. I picked the Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears couldn't have a starting quarterback in the past 10 years I've been alive. I mean, the coaches have been terrible. They have no weapons. I couldn't name one. I guess Mooney, but I honestly couldn't name you.
They had Marshall at one point.
Like, they just, when I look at Chicago, whenever they have a star, he's gone the next year. Khalil Mack, Allen Robinson's finally gone. You know what I mean? Like, there's just nothing there. They might get a new arena. Like, I don't think I hate to say this because people hate it, but hey, Mitchell Trubisky was your best thing you had for a while. He took you to the playoffs 2 out of 4 years, and like, it's been downhill since. I hope Justin Fields does well because when's the last time you saw a QB from Ohio State be good? Too. But when you have a guy that's running for his life because you have no O-line, it's not going to work.
Oh, and not to mention Tariq Cohen getting injured, and like it was caught on video.
I feel that's the worst. Like, that's the worst.
Especially for his sake, trying to rehab to get back already. And
the Bears need like what the Giants got. Like, they need to find their identity. They need to get the right coach. They need to get the right GM. Like, they need to get the right pieces in there and start building that team up, man. It's the Bears. The Bears got those loyal fans. You just need to get the players there.
Well, I mean, we're going to find out because they brought in both, obviously the new coach and the new GM.
Yep.
So we're going to see what happens. I think they're going to stay around, but that depends on how well Fields plays too. So they're clearly, I agree with you. I would have picked them too, this is why we're not like a pre-recorded show. Like, we don't have to have the rehearsed sort of, you take that take, I take the.
Yeah. No. See, if we want the same pick, that's cool. Cause we believe that the Bears suck and they have the most chaotic situation going on right now.
Even though I think he's a better quarterback than Goff, but
yeah. And I didn't pick the Lions because I feel like the Lions have a very good system that's getting built there.
Yep.
Like, the Lions are well. in my eyes, I'm so excited to watch the Lions and see how well they progress this year.
Do they play? Don't say that. The only time you're going to watch them is if they play the same.
And I don't think you need a rush to get rid of Goff. I mean, I feel like every time I say a quarterback is decent, like, people think, I mean, he's like elite, but like, you think about like how hard it is to find a decent quarterback that can get you wins. Like Goff has been to a Super Bowl, so he's got it. I'm not saying like he's good, right? He's got an experience though to what it's like to be on a winning team, and I feel like it's great to have on a young team like that.
Yeah.
All right, we get to the NFC South here. I picked Carolina. Even though they got Baker, Carolina's QB is a mess the past 3 years. You had Cam Newton, you had Teddy Bridgewater, you had PJ Williams, PJ Walker, whatever it was. You bring back Cam Newton, you bring in Sam Darnold, you bring in Baker Mayfield. Like it's looking like the Browns, you know what I mean? Their coach is on the hot seat. You know, he hasn't found his identity yet as far as what plays he wants to do. As far as
that, yeah,
the Carolina Panthers. When I look at that division, I think the Falcons have the head coach they want. The quarterback situation is a little iffy, but they got their stuff figured out, I think, a little bit. Tampa Bay's still good. The Saints definitely figured it out. So it's Carolina Panthers for me.
I mean, I would say the Panthers, but honestly, like the Saints with Winston, I don't know what I'm going to get out of him.
No, come on, A's.
I just don't know. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I got to go Panthers too.
I mean, I'll be honest though, Winston, I think any quarterback coming out of an injury like that, like even Dak, like when he came out of his injury, like players are typically a little more slow when they come out of injury like that. I mean, I hope he plays well. Maybe he'll go ahead.
Just Google Winston workout compilation videos. You guys,
Iverson braids, man. He's just, hey, I love that though. They cleared him though for training camp. Like he's so ahead of the game. They put Michael Thomas on the PUP list because they're about to go into training camp. So he's close. He's so close. He's posting a lot of videos of him running, doing routes, you know, slant boy doing his slants.
Yeah, of course.
We get to the NFC West where I pick Seattle. I apologize for coughing so much, Jason. I'm getting over the sickness. Right. You know what I mean?
I know. I feel bad. But...
I picked Seattle just because I feel like Seattle should have pulled the trigger on a QB. They had a lot of opportunities. They didn't. I get rolling the dice with Drew Lock and maybe getting a QB in the draft next year. But I just think with the weapons you have on your offense that you should have got a quarterback. I mean, you have DK Metcalf, you have Tyler Lockett. You know, those are two good receivers that do you think they really want to feel like trash, you know, ripping Drew Lock like this? But like, do you really think they want a Drew Lock in there? Like, you could have kept Russell. You could have went after a Jimmy G for the heck of it. You could have went after a Baker. Anybody really to fire those guys up.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's the other three teams should be playoff teams.
Yeah. I thought about San Francisco because I feel like there's a lot of drama going on as far as will Garoppolo stay? Will Trey Lance start? Is Trey Lance good?
Actually, yeah, you're right. I can't say the 49ers are a playoff team until they figure that out. Because if Garoppolo plays, to be honest, I think they have a better chance to win more games. It's Lance is more the wow factor. What else?
Yeah.
Like, if he takes that next step to learn.
I think what they have as far as talent is still playoff worthy. I mean, you saw it last year.
Yeah.
If Trey Lance is able to step in and be electric, almost like Lamar stepped in and was electric, like that team's still dangerous.
Their offensive line is like top 5 for sure. So it's Seahawks. I don't think Locke is I mean, who knows? Maybe he lights it up this year. I don't know if he's a long-term play though either.
Yeah. Well, last thing I have, Ace, is NBA is James Harden came out like 2 weeks ago, maybe last week, said, I don't need all the money, coach.
What a guy.
I don't need all the money. Whatever money you have left after you sign some guys, I'll take what's left, coach. You put me in there, coach. He agrees to a 2-year, $68.6 million deal. And I just think if you don't like that deal, you have to realize that he had a player option of, I think it was 49 million or 48 million. And you just got this guy for 2 years, 68.8 million. I don't think you could have drew it up any better. I know when me and my dad talked about it.
Still a lot.
Did you say it's still a lot?
Yeah.
It's still a lot, but I know we sat on here and there were people talking about giving a 4-year, $100 million deal. I know I said I would have been happy with like a 3-year, 70 deal. Like, I just think his player option was 40 mil. You got him for 2 years for 60 mil, almost 70, obviously. But I think that's better than what it could have been.
Mm-hmm.
And that still gives us money to possibly go out and get another player, like another big man that we could use or another shooter. So that makes me excited, Ace. And the Sixers are planning on building a $1.3 billion arena. The reason I don't I'm not excited about this, right, is let me see if I can find the date here. I don't think it's supposed to like be a thing until like 2031 or something.
No.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So it's like, I don't know why they dropped it. Like, I don't know if they're saying like it will be built by that. Yeah.
Center
Yeah.
City.
This is what's funny is Embiid posted the photo and he tweets, he goes, nah, 2032 with like these dead emojis and stuff. Like, cause he won't be on the team by then, probably. That's so far away.
What the heck? Why
I'd
did
be
they
so-
release this now? That seems way too far in advance to like even consider. But
I'd be so mad. I'd be so mad.
yeah.
Oh
They
man,
do it
Ace.
wrong. They
Well,
do it
Ace,
wrong.
you got anything else that you wanna?
Oh
these-
yeah. NCAA quick, like the football teams that
Yep.
tentatively are going to be mixing up. The rumors are Notre Dame likely would end up with the Big Ten, which obviously naturally makes sense. Close to Ohio State, Michigan, Indiana, a bunch of those teams.
Yep.
SEC wants to poach the big time players out of the ACC, which would
Big
be
time.
the Clemsons, the Miamis. I think Florida State's also. Even Central Florida, there's been talk might actually go to the SEC. Well,
Really?
I don't know, but the whole thing is you want Georgia, you want those hotbed regions, they always say, with like player talent and whatnot for recruiting purposes. So I mean,
I want to go to a Florida State game, but it's like 4 hours away or something like that. I just want to do the tomahawk
Dude,
chant.
you
Night
should,
game,
yes.
a night game, and
Please.
just pick
pick out.
My-
I mean, if you want to go for cheap, just pick out a crappy team they're going to play maybe
Yeah.
early in the season.
See, I'd want to go
Or
to a
like
night
the
game though for a
first-
big game though, because that tomahawk
Oh,
chant is probably
yeah.
hits different.
LSU.
Oh
See when
my
they play
god.
LSU or Georgia. Georgia's a huge.
See, and I'm not even a
rivalry.
fan of like that team, but like I feel like if you're a fan of sports, like that is something that'd be so cool just to go watch.
Yep. See, they've been like the SEC has been able to do a good job to preserve those rivalries.
Yeah.
That's why they've been doing it right. And same with the Big Ten to some degree. I mean, they brought in more teams over the years that kind of lose that, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, it's my only complaint. I don't know if I said this before, but it's like the NCAA had to have known this was going to be like, you can't just sit on your ass and not do anything right now. The
Oh
NCAA,
no, just kidding.
you really can't. Like,
I know.
You're ruining. I don't know what's going to happen long term, I guess is my point.
Yeah.
You gotta, like, you can't do nothing.
Yeah, I agree. I
So-
agree. I know you mentioned Georgia, and we'll shout this news out real quick. Georgia Bulldogs Kirby Smart agreed to a 10-year, $112.5 million deal to make him the highest paid college football coach in history right now. How about that money? 10 years coaching. And we had the discussion. I feel like what's different in college that could be scary, signing someone long term, is you could have this great team. But I mean, you're only guaranteed to have some of these players for 2 years. They could just be like, all right, I'm out. I'm going to the draft. And, you know, you're hoping you had a great recruiting class because you might suck the next year. And then-
well, I usually down with those programs, but
Oh, yeah. No, not usually.
Never.
But I'm just saying that that's different. But congratulations, $112 million deal. I know his wife and kids are probably happy.
Shout out Kirby. I
What?
like that name too. So
Kirby. You gonna name your son Kirby?
Kirby Puckett, maybe. After
Oh,
Kirby
that's-
Puckett too.
That's one heck of it. Is that your last name?
Kirby. No, Puckett. No, Epstein.
That's right. I totally knew your last name. Oh my goodness. I was like, yo, Kirby Puckett. Where do
Kirby.
I know that name from? 'Cause that's a heck of a
Yes.
name. How do I know? What's that
Twins center
from?
Fielder.
Center field. Yeah, it's not familiar. You know who I
Former
liked on the
Twins.
Twins?
Oh, Torrey
Who was-
Hunter. No.
Yes. Yes, Ace. Thank you so much because I totally forgot it. I loved Torrey Hunter. He was a great ball player.
Yeah,
His son is playing baseball, I think. I don't know if he's in the college level
I
yet
think,
or
no,
not.
He might be college. I thought it was football, but maybe. Oh, maybe.
Oh,
you're
you
right.
know what? Maybe he did to make that change to football. I think he was playing for Notre Dame, maybe.
Yeah. I
Don't quote me. Don't quote me.
Word. Yeah.
Don't quote me.
We'll let you listeners know next week.
Well, Dad, we definitely missed you on today's podcast. Hope you all enjoyed this podcast. We're gonna try and do a little bit better job at promoting in our social media because we have been slacking, but we work full-time jobs, so we're tired. You know what I mean? We do this for fun. We love it. But Ace, you got anything left you want to shout out?
Shout out. No, nothing.
He's got a new haircut if you're watching on YouTube. So if you're watching on Spotify, just tune into these last couple minutes. Yeah, how beautiful this young man looks.
Oh God.
Makes the beard just pop out.
Hey, I appreciate that.
Well, guys, we hope you enjoyed this podcast. Check it out on all platforms. You can listen to it. Don't forget to share it and just like it. Hope you guys have a good rest of your week, and peace.